Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. So in this short video I'd like to show you how you can quickly and easily repair a hinge on an internal door such as this one. You might find that over time the holes where the screws are become loose and the screws don't have anything to bite into, and that can lead to the hinge sort of moving and the door not closing properly. So in this video I'm going to take you through all of the steps that you need to do to get the hinge fixed. So here is where a hinge on my door was. This was the hinge. As you can see, it's quite old. It's been on for a long time. It's been on since I bought the house. So the problem is that the holes where the screws go can become loose, and then there's nothing for the screw to bite into. So you might find that when you try to tighten up the screw in the hole, it's sort of just mobile like this one, and it's not grabbing onto anything. Over time, movement and wear has made the hole too big, so you might want to need to repair that hole. Also, for example, this is a really old hinge. You might want to replace the hinge, and you might want to use the existing notched out area for the new hinge. For example, here's a newer hinge that I want to add, and as you can see, the holes don't line up with the old hinge, so we'll need to drill some new holes. So in either case, you're going to need to fill or repair these holes so that you can then either reuse the existing holes or re-drill some new holes. So to do this, first of all, you're going to need some good quality wood glue such as this, and you're going to need something to fill the hole with. I've seen some videos on the internet about using toothpicks, but I don't have any toothpicks, and there are other ways of doing it. So here I've got some lollipop sticks that I've kept back for various projects, and you can get these in various sizes. So wooden lollipop sticks work well to fill small holes. And you also have dowels, so if you know the diameter of the holes, you can then go and pick the appropriate dowel, such as this one for example. But if you don't know the size of the hole, then what I like to use is the ends of little paint brushes. So I've got old paint brushes that I've cut the heads off and kept behind, such as these. And the good thing about these is they're tapered, so they start off small at the end and they thicken up as they go further up the shaft, which means that you don't necessarily need to know the diameter of the hole that you need to fill. And with these you can push it in until it gets tight and get a nice tight fixing. So that's what I'm going to be using in this case today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by filling the holes with some wood glue. It doesn't matter if you fill the hole first or if you add glue to the stick that you're going to put into the hole, just as long as you get some glue in there so that it can glue it up nice and tight. So I've got quite a small nozzle on my glue, and as you can see I've just pushed the glue into those holes. Now I can take the end of these little paint brushes and push them in, and then using a hammer I can make sure they're nice and tight. So this one for example, that is now rock solid, and when that dries I can cut the excess off. And I've got different thicknesses of paintbrush, so if there's a hole that's a bit bigger I can use a thicker end. So it's always worth keeping your old paintbrushes, artist's brushes, for things like this. They do have paint on them, so that's not ideal if you want it to adhere properly to the wood. So you could scrape the paint off if you want, but I don't really think that's necessary. Once the glue dries, it's such a tight hole anyway, it'll be solid. And as you can see, I've got them right into the hole, nice and tight now, hammered in. So we'll leave that to dry, and then we can cut off the excess. So when the glue has dried and it's time to remove the excess pieces of stick, you can use a few different types of tool. You can use a small flush cut saw like this one, or you can use a nice sharp chisel with a hammer and just whack that excess off nice and tight and flush. Or you can even use some little pincers just to nip the wood off flush. the choice is up to you. So once the glue is set and these are ready to be removed, you can start removing them. As I say, you can use various different tools. You can use a little flush cut saw like this one. That gives you a relatively flush cut. You could also use a chisel and just whack it off. I'll just clean up that cut I've just made with the chisel. That's perfectly flush now. You can also just knock it off with the chisel on its own. Like so. Or you can use some snippers. Clean it up with the chisel. And that is it. So now these holes are as good as new. It's as if there weren't any holes there, but you could use them with the existing holes, or you could drill some new holes. So for the existing holes you could just use an awl or a self-centering drill bit, and then just re-screw the screw in and it'll be as good as new. Okay, so now it's all ready for the hinge to go back on. All we need to do is get the hinge in position. As I say, you can use a self-centering drill bit. I don't have one of those. I'm just going to draw a circle with a black pen. And now I can use an awl to make a centre mark in the middle of that black circle. Like so. And then I'm going to drill a pilot hole, and you want to make sure that the shaft of the drill bit is the same as the shaft of the screw. So once that's done, we can offer up the hinge and then add the new screws into the new holes. Or you could add the new screws into the existing holes that you've plugged. And now, as you can see, you've got a really nice solid tight fixing onto the door frame. Okay, so that's about it for this video then. So as I say, quite an easy fix to do. You just need some lollipop sticks, some toothpicks, small dowels, or as you saw in this one, some ends of some little paintbrushes. So if you did find this video useful, please remember to like and also consider subscribing for more DIY related videos. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.